Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Welcome. We're really thrilled that you could join us today for this special session on travel industry and the changes and how we're going to be marketing in this post-coronavirus world. My name is Robin Thompson, and I'm a talent development manager at Advanced Local. Just a couple of little housekeeping things right now for as we get started. We do have a chat box, and everything is, if you'd like to chat, ask a question, etc., please feel free to add that into the chat box as we go along. You don't have to wait till the end, and we'll try to answer those. I know we had one questions pre-submitted as well, so we'll get one or two on those, and we'll get to those questions also. I'm joined today by Lindsay Marlenga, who's the Senior Director of Marketing at Advanced Media in New York. I'm very excited for Lindsay to join us today, and I think you're going to find the information that she shares is terrific, and it's really going to give you some guidance and just take a look at what is going to happen over the next weeks, months, and as we move toward the end of the year. So without further delay, I'm going to turn this over to Lindsay and let her take it away. Lindsay?
Sure. Hi there, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Travel is a really personal experience. So while I don't own a hotel or operate a local destination, as a travel lover, I'm feeling at least a fraction of your pain. Since travel is such a personal experience, I feel it's only appropriate to share kind of a personal story with you that just happened this past weekend that really punched my wanderlust in the gut. For Mother's Day, my husband and sons put together a photo album. And it had lots of great family photos, a lot of which were us on like different day trips or different family vacations. And along with getting a little bit hazy, remembering my oldest son as a baby, I found myself getting a little misty thinking about those vacations. And, it really led us, my husband and I, to start talking about, the trips we were supposed to be taking this year. And it kind of felt like we were mourning over these, potential good times that were in our future. We had a family vacation planned to Georgia in April. We had our 10th wedding anniversary trip, and we wanted to go to Spain this August. And we had a family wedding and hoping to go to Austin City Limits, which is a bucket list item of ours in October. It was definitely going to be a really fun travel-filled year. We were excited. We kind of had a plan for the first time in quite some time. So needless to say, we were pretty sad about it. But out of all that sadness, I think, came a whole lot of, when this is over, we really have to go to, and then our list for future travel stops really started to grow. We became really less sad and more excited by the prospect of busting out of our house and getting out there into the world again. And I know my family isn't alone in kind of this emotional travel roller coaster. We all really want travel again. We all are finding that we really need it. And I feel confident in the fact that we'll get back at it when the time is right. So it may look different, but it'll definitely be waiting there for us when we start to feel more comfortable and this current crisis is under control. So, I know that virtual conversations could be a little bit difficult. So, make me feel not alone in this. Let us know what trips you have planned or ones that you're looking forward to when this is all over. I'm looking for new ideas, so put anything that you're kind of dreaming about in the chat box. I'd love to see it. So while I know many of you too feel the personal pinch of limited travel, you undoubtedly feel the unrelenting smack of the current financials and unemployment stats for the travel industry. I know as I was kind of combing through some of those statistics, it really was starting to paint kind of a bleak picture of the present. The industry is facing a 45% decrease in annual revenue before the year's over, with the largest declines hitting us in April and May. So it seems like we're in the thick of it now, but as we've all come to learn in the last few months, targets are always changing, developments seem to be coming at us every day, making it really difficult to know if we're headed down the far side of the mountain. Fingers crossed we are, right? And while there's certainly sobering statistics on all fronts, I'm sure you've all seen them. in a variety of formats as the days go by. It might be hard to hear, but it certainly grounds us even more and motivates us for the uphill climb that we're going to face together. And I know I touched on the revenue decrease, but also a big part of this is that the industry is likely to lose 8 million jobs over the course of the year. So that's another bit of a gut punch for us all. And from a consumer standpoint, the virus continues to make potential travelers really uneasy. Consumers, while itching to get back out there, are canceling existing travel plans and are holding off on booking new trips until there are indicators that the virus is under control. 79% of travelers plan to change their travel plans over the next 6 months, so that is through August. Staying home instead of taking that vacation and putting off visiting family and other loved ones to keep everybody safe. And only 16% plan to fly before August. This is primarily driven by the fear of contracting the virus in crowded, confined places, and really points to a shift towards destinations closer to home and within driving distance. And we'll be diving into that in a little bit more detail in the future. And, you know, while the unstable economy and some higher travel-related costs are also fueling these decisions, the fear of contracting and spreading the virus is the #1 reason why people are changing their travel plans. So even the travel experts like yourselves are unsure of when things may open. Take this quote from Erica Reichter from the American Society of Travel Advisors. She's saying, until the virus is under control and efficient systems are in place to restore confidence in travel, it's simply too soon to tell when people can expect to start booking again. And this type of uncertainty exists not only from the consumer perspective, but you know, from travel industry insiders as well. And as this uncertainty is feeding anxiety around not only the best path forward, but when that path can begin. I don't know about you, but it kind of makes my palms a little bit sweaty just thinking about it. But I think we are poised to come out the other side soon. There is still some good news out there. There's some positive indicators that travelers are readying themselves for the virus to die down and to be able to press go on some of this pent-up wanderlust that we were talking about a little while ago. 71% of people said that they miss travel and can't wait to do it again. If these people are anything like my husband and I, our nostalgic travel conversations spur impromptu brainstorming sessions about where we want to go. Our list seems to get longer and longer with every passing day, so much so that we've actually started to research some of these destinations, you know, starting to look into how do we get there with the current restrictions, what are we going to do when we get there, what's available, and even where to eat out when we're all in the clear, because that's obviously the best part of traveling, right? We want to have plans at the ready so when things do get better, we can use some of that PTO time and actually do instead of just dreaming about it. And it seems I'm not alone in that thinking. About 70% are planning new travel again. And planning for those with the bug, or frankly, those that just miss friends and family or miss being outside of their house, makes them feel better about the current circumstances. It lets them know that things aren't going to be like this forever and that someday we can do things that bring us joy again. Another positive indicator, according to both a CNBC article as well as AAA, is beginning in the last 2 weeks of April, the U.S. travel industry was seeing some more bookings than cancellations for the first time since this all began. Since then, bookings have been steadily outpacing cancellations across the country. And I'm sure there's a variety of factors that go into that, you know, whether it's traveler comfort or like we said, that kind of pent-up wanderlust and people just wanting to put things on the calendar. Or maybe it's the fact that, you know, countries across, or there's some states across the country that are starting to, you know, really loosen up their stay-at-home orders or eliminate them altogether. That could be fueling this. Also, as people begin to start brainstorming, planning, and booking, their idea of travel is starting to change a little bit. At least the preliminary travel. So when we start to look in the next 6 months or so, road trips will definitely be the first step, with over 2/3 of respondents saying that their first trip will either be by car to visit friends and family, or will be by car to visit friends and family, or for a getaway. and nearly a third will stay within 200 miles of home, keeping them primarily in their state. In some cases, it also extends out to some of our common feeder markets. So this close to home, road trip driven reentry into travel is common in times of crisis. Post 9/11 saw very similar travel patterns, as did recovery from the 2008 recession. Elizabeth Monahan from TripAdvisor says it well when she says that tourism recovery typically begins locally. Travelers tend to first venture out closer to home and visit their local eateries, stay local for a weekend getaway, or travel domestically before a robust demand for international travel returns. And COVID-19 recovery seems to be following very similar patterns. So for a while, it seems as if local will be enough. So whether local means finally visiting your town's farmer's market, exploring parks in the next county over, or heading down the thruway on an adventure. The radius we will be willing to travel will expand as infection rates go down and our comfort with heading back out into the world increases. So upstate New York travel and tourism definitely offers some unique characteristics that are perfect for kind of this local wanderer mentality. Where a lot of our locations are drivable. Our landscape is very drivable. So whether the thruway or scenic back roads, you can visit a lot of different places by car. Road trips, weekend trips, or kind of even stringing together a lot of locations in a similar region into a week-long getaway are an option. Also, we have a lot of destinations that are outdoor or open air locations. So although masks and social distancing will continue to be a norm, there's an increased comfort level around being out in the public, especially if it's an outdoor destination. And thankfully, with all of our parks and the natural beauty, there are a lot of options. So if only the weather will just start to cooperate with us, we can start to take advantage of some of those great destinations around upstate New York. Also, diversity. So while yes, outdoor locations are plentiful, we do have a lot of unique museums and other attractions. One that I can think of, or a couple that I can think of, are the Lucille Ball Museum, the Comedy Museum, and Antique Boat Museum. Both are, very interesting type locations. You can string those together with an outdoor location, or maybe something like the Wild or Boat Castle. There's enough diversity to really appeal to all different types of travelers and not just outdoor people, as well as all different ages and ability levels too. And something Rob and I were talking a bit about with this diversity is I really think there is an option to kind of play up some sort of regional packages. So if you're in a region that kind of has these very varied attractions available to you, try to see if maybe you can coordinate with some of those others in your area to come up with like a weekender package or, a 3-day getaway to just kind of string together and promote jointly some of these very unique, diverse locations, especially as you may be targeting to a little bit more of a local audience. It could be beneficial to really find some of those hidden gem locations within your region and point those out to make people that may have regularly visited you in the past, give them something new to come and visit. Also, another benefit is that, we have a lot of space that is outside of densely populated metro areas. Similar reason as the outdoor locations, but since the virus has been primarily concentrated in cities, attractions with a fewer number of residents or visitors may be appealing to those that are worried about exposure. Also, there are a lot of family-friendly locations. So even though we've been cooped up with our families for months, they'll be really hard to shake when the restrictions are lifted. Kids might not be back in school, and families, frankly, might still like each other when this is all over. And
we can only hope.
I know. It depends on the day, right? And the definition of family really might start to extend beyond the core family that we've been cooped up with. Trips may serve as the first time that grandparents or other extended family may be able to get together and do things together. So, your location could kind of be the special backdrop for some of those experiences to happen. All right. And each of these distinct features really offer up communication points for you to push out via your marketing channels, whether it be on owned media or paid platforms. And by owned media, I mean things like your social media pages, any existing email lists that you message to regularly, and especially your website. Your website's probably your most vital communication at this point when people are researching and, regularly checking in to see if there are any policy changes or frankly, if things are even open at this point. Let's see. So when we look at kind of the drivable communication point, I think these are just kind of 3 ideas on how to approach messaging that your location is drivable. You can communicate that your destination is only a short drive away, so fitting within that road trip mentality. And feel free to kind of say what's everybody's mind. Everybody wants to get out of the house. They want some sort of escape. So why not communicate that directly? And I think a lot of us, we're starting to feel like we're living Groundhog's Day over and over again. So it's an opportunity with a short drive for your visit to your destination to really shake it up and offer something different to the day-to-day we've all been living. Also, just offer a clear directive. Just drive. Just get in the car, roll down the windows, and head out on an adventure that we've all been so starved of for the last 2 months. From an outdoor standpoint, pictures kind of tell 1,000 words when you're talking about outdoor beauty. But also, use expressions that communicate the space and kind of the uncrowded nature of destinations. Again, people want some of that socially distant space available to them upon arrival, but they also want the adventure. So show how those 2 things can live together. Also emphasize the fresh air and the change of scenery with something like fresh air, beautiful sights, or directly confront the Groundhog's Day mentality again by offering up a change of pace, where you say something like change your scenery or changes in the air type of vibe. With diversity, again, going back to the Groundhog's Day scenario, nothing like saying that multiple times, right? Our days have been pretty vanilla. What location do you have that can help visitors kind of mix it up? A do something different directive or a comfort outside your comfort zone message, communicate something that something is just slightly out of the ordinary, but still safe. And at the same time, if you're going to motivate everyone to leave the house, we all want to get something out of it. So promise that your destination offers something for everyone is a promise that it's worth the effort, especially if it's a family location where you might have some of those multi-generational meetups happening. Outside large metros. So this is probably the trickiest one of the bunch to kind of communicate in a very tactful yet motivating way. Definitely be careful of some words like crowds, because while it does communicate a benefit of being outside a large metro, the word crowd, might make some people's skin crawl at this point. And you likely don't want to encourage people from, some areas, whether it's downstate or Western New York necessarily, to come and visit. So try to avoid communication kind of around pulling from maybe some of those areas that have higher infection rates. The potential communications speak to the uncrowded and peaceful nature of your destination, bringing peace of mind to those that want to travel but may have a level of discomfort currently. And finally, if you really want to drive home that your location is family friendly, your communication doesn't really need to change that much at all. Visiting your location is still an ideal time for quality family time. It's an opportunity for family to explore and experience things together, and it allows families to operate as a close family unit, take this kind of leap into the unknown together and work together as they have been for months, but this time for fun instead of necessity. So things like family time is still the best time, explore together, and let's get back out there together kind of speaks to that familial bond, but outside the confines of kind of your house where you've been camping for the last couple months here. And as we've said before, getting back out there is an exciting but anxiety-riddled choice for some people. They want to get back to normal, but understand that they must continue practicing social distancing and other protocols in public. There are things that you can do as a business to make them feel more comfortable about traveling. to your destination and in setting proper expectations for them when they arrive. This protocol should be communicated along with a kind of visit us message to give visitors the full picture. And protocols should be highly publicized on your site, on social channels, and in paid activations if you have them. Important protocol points to establish and communicate include being transparent about your cleaning protocol, so let people know how you may be cleaning hotel rooms, how you might be handling common spaces, just your general procedures to make them feel more comfortable. Setting clear social distancing expectations. So this is, when people get there, let them know, that yes, you are asking people to stay 6 feet apart. You're asking them to wear a mask. Some of the, normal social distancing norms, just make sure you kind of reiterate those so people know what to expect when they get there. Also at your destination, if you can help people make the right decisions when they're there, I think it kind of eases tension for everybody that's there. So whether it's kind of marking those social distancing 6 feet apart kind of lines, or having signs that say, please wear your mask, or having antibacterial available. These are all indicators that, yes, you should be practicing social distancing here without having to, formally tell someone your policies. And while this may seem somewhat tedious, there are possible long-term ramifications if you don't have a clear cleaning protocol or approach to social distancing. 2 in 3 travelers say if a travel company doesn't take health considerations seriously as we look to reopen, they're likely to withhold future purchases. So it does have long-term effects potentially on your business. I know we're getting a little bit short on time here, but I just wanted to give you an example of how a destination in Arkansas has kind of approached messaging. And it's not necessarily what they're saying, but it's how they're going about saying it. So I'm actually very impressed with the marketing strategy that this group put together. It really takes a lot of the information that we covered here today and boils it down into kind of 4 actionable steps. And it really emphasizes this local wanderer, local traveler data point. So the first is really putting into effect a reminder campaign. So this is an initial campaign that speaks to your entire geographic footprint, just reminding them that you're a location and that they should consider planning now so they can play later when everything reopens. So it's just when we talk about people are brainstorming, potential places they want to go and this is all over, this campaign puts you in front of them so that you get on that list. The second, and this is again where a lot of the emphasis should be placed, is this local campaign. So in this particular case, it was a 4 to 6 week portion of the campaign that really had that staycation focused. Messaging was really targeted to a smaller geo, meaning the county of the destination as well as surrounding counties to pull from that local audience. The third was projecting out to a statewide campaign. So again, as people get more comfortable and as infection rates, cross your fingers, continue to go down, people will be more willing to travel further. So that's why we'd expand out to a statewide level. And then fourth is starting to incorporate your feeder markets. So, if we're looking at again, fingers crossed, mid-June opportunity for some of your businesses to open, if you're part of phase 3, I believe. This would mean that your phase 2 would take you through kind of the heightened period of, the warm summer months where I know you see a lot of revenue being generated. And then quickly, for the sake of time, these are, 5 other trends that I kind of saw rise to the surface when it comes to, looking at travel in the future. So the first we talked about quite a bit, but people really leaning more towards taking a road trip rather than a large extensive vacation where they might have to get on an airplane. Home rentals, I feel like this one is somewhat debatable. People are still looking to Airbnb as an option. However, hotels, if you really can be crystal clear about your cleaning policies, I think people will come to you just as readily as Airbnb. Travel agents, with a lot of the cancellations that have been happening as a result of COVID, people are looking for someone to help navigate the new restrictions and requirements around travel. So travel agents are kind of becoming more important in the process again. For this similar reason, travel insurance, people are going to be investing in travel insurance more often to, again, mitigate maybe some of those additional fees or cancellation headaches that they ran into with COVID cancellations and rebooks. And then policy flexibility, people just want, you know, whether they're booking a hotel or buying tickets in advance, they really just want to feel confident about the booking cancellation policies. They want to know if there's any fees or if they're being held accountable for any purchases, you know, given crises such as what we are in the middle of. So just 5 quick takeaways before we turn it over to some questions. So consumer sentiment and behavior indicates future growth. There are positive data points that are kind of pointing to revenue increases in the next couple months. Initial travel will most likely be by car. Travel will start hyper-local and then expand outwards, again, as people become more comfortable with the idea of getting back out there and infection rates continue to decline. Also, with a lot of you on the line, it's really important to tap into some of those unique upstate aspects, whether it's the diversity, the outside destinations, things that really appeal to people in this moment. Also, for the upcoming season, the greatest opportunity really is among this local travel group. So if you are looking to focus any of either your owned media, energy, or some budget, it would be on that local traveler. So looking at your county or maybe the counties around your destination will likely be where you'll draw the largest amount of travelers from for this season at least. So now we'll turn it over to some questions. Robin, I know we had one pre-submitted question.
Yes, someone had asked about having, I'm getting an echo for some reason. Had asked about some travel. We're going to reach out to them directly. So I think we appreciate everybody's time that they've had today, and we will be sending out this deck so you can see it, and we'll answer those questions on a personal basis. Thank you everyone for attending today. We really appreciate it, and have a great weekend. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.